Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today I've got a really informative, yet terrifying upload for you guys. We're going to take a look at some more possible Dogman cousins, the Canine Cryptid variety, and a Dogman encounter. Before we get into this, a couple of links I'd like to share. As you know, I rely on my Patreon, my PayPal, and my merch to help this channel to continue to grow and go. All of those links are in the description below. I also have a second channel for creepypasta, fanfiction, and scary voice acting. Stories that really don't fit on this channel. Now, if that's anything you're into, follow that link and give those stories a listen. You may just like what you hear. Also, at the end of the outro, I am just going to open up a little bit. I will let everyone know when the outro is over. That way, those of you who don't want to know me and know what's going on can stop the video. For those of you that do, you can proceed and listen. Now, I've taken enough of your time. Let's get on with these terrifying information and Dogman encounters, shall we? Today's first part of the upload. The Daewoo, another cryptid canine. Encounters of upright canine or Dogman are rapidly spreading across the United States and actually worldwide. Eyewitness reports can be found on paranormal and crypto-themed websites, YouTube, and social media. The phenomena goes further back, of course, and in the 60s, a predecessor to today's Dogman was running loose in Frederick County, Maryland, about an hour drive northwest of Washington, D.C. News reporter George May asked, "What is 6 feet tall, has feet like a dog, a big bushy tail, and is black?" in a piece for the News, a Frederick, Maryland newspaper, on November 29, 1965. The answer to May's question, a Daewoo. The first mention of the Daewoo is thought to have occurred in the 40s, but it became a household name in Frederick area in November of 65, when John Becker contacted local newspaper and claimed he was attacked by a Daewoo in his backyard. Becker's story was largely been written off as a hoax, as investigators were unable to corroborate his claim. After Becker contacted the paper, they forwarded the report to local police, who tried to follow up with Becker. According to Sergeant Clyde B. Tucker, Becker could not be located for questioning, and worse, the address he had provided did not exist. Becker's story may have been a fabrication, but that didn't matter. The Daewoo was on the loose in Frederick County. Reports were flooding into the police and the local paper from hunters and others who claimed to have seen or heard the creature. On December 7th of 1965, a dog-shaped animal was spotted chasing cows in the Jefferson area. A woman called the state police and reported the incident, and claimed that the animal in question was brownish and about the size of a calf, and something she had never seen before. The investigating officer found nothing. As reports of the Daewoo spread, a Frederick newspaper received a letter from 4 University, Maryland students who claimed they had spotted a Daewoo on their campus. After conducting research on the Daewoo, the students, perhaps tongue-in-cheek, concluded it was a cross between a day and a woo. According to the students, a day is a creature that inhabits the upper Amazon, and the woo, they claimed, originated in China but migrated to the west coast of the United States in a remote pass by way of the Bering Land Bridge. The students went further with their story. Long ago, and the woo and the day intermarried and formed a new species. The Daewoo sapien therapsida, Australopithecus rescus. With sightings occurring at a dizzying pace, something had to be done. Students from a local community college organized a hunt scheduled for 5 p.m. on December 8th of 1965. Between 50 and 100 students signed up and agreed to participate. But when the time came, no one showed. The hunted was dubbed a complete flop in the local newspaper, where the students were too afraid to confront the Daewoo. One student suggested most had many classes scheduled and couldn't make for the hunt. However, it seemed unlikely that so many students misjudged their schedule so badly. Whatever the reason for the no-shows, what is certain is that a proposed hunt failed to capture, kill, or even spot the Daewoo. After the mid-60s, the Daewoo craze dwindled down, but sporadic reports came in from time to time. Most notably, a Daewoo was spotted in 1976 near Cunningham Falls State Park. In 78, park rangers saw a large, hairy creature similar to a Daewoo report, also near Cunningham Falls. Today, Daewoo reports seem to have given way to the Dogman sightings. Upright canines standing between 6 to 8 feet tall, sometimes even taller. Maybe that is really what the Daewoo was all along, an early version of the Dogman. Also, for a spelling of the scientific name given to the Daewoo by those students will be in the description below. I urge you guys to try to say it too. You'll see why I had such a problem. Today's second part of the upload. The saberwolf. Alaska, America's final frontier. Much of the great northern land is still unexplored. Who knows what could be waiting to be discovered? There are a lot of stories ranging from ghosts on the sled trails to cursed mines and abandoned towns. But one stands out as something unique. A monster that exists from beyond our time. It is thought to be long dead, or maybe it's an ancestor, or maybe it is dead. Natives believe that it to be an evil spirit with supernatural powers known as the Wahila. Others call it the saberwolf. Some say it's as big as a bear and weighs 600 pounds. The beast has claws like knives and thick black fur. Supposedly it is related to the ancient dire wolf that is said to have died off some 12,000 years ago. The main problem with that is they grew about 150 pounds. The big ones only got to be about 200 pounds. Today's wolves and dogs aren't even related to dire wolves, but are descendants of another wolf species. This particular wolf is more in line with another prehistoric wolf that is thought to have been long extinct, the bear wolf. This so-called saber wolf was originally a legend of a place called Nahanni Valley, the Valley of the Headless Man. This location in Canada got its name from the numerous accounts of headless corpses found in the area. Throughout that time, a large, furry wolf creature was spotted in the area. Locals said the creature would claim its victims by tearing the head from the body. Many years later, the beast seemingly vanished. But this came with sightings of a similar monster elsewhere, in the northern wastes of Alaska. The snow was heavy and thick on the north wind as a mechanic was sent out to a service station in the barren lands of Alaska. The blizzard was no trouble. The company vehicles were suited for it, but they weren't built to handle monsters. The snow turned the world around the man gray. Nothing was visible. The truck was no longer on the road, but a snow-covered path leading across the flat ground to an electric station. The man pulled to the side of the road and waited out the storm. Not long after, the man could spot a dark gray figure on all fours about 30 feet in front of the truck. He thought nothing of it, as he was in the middle of the wilderness, and there was bound to be animals lurking. He laid across the truck's bench seat and tried to get a nap to pass time. The wind howled harsh against the side of the big truck, rocking the machine side to side. Then the truck shook a little too hard as the roof made a crumbling sound. The man sat up instantly to see the roof had been indented. The snow and wind raged, so he decided he best not leave the vehicle to see what caused the movement. Seconds later, he was thankful he didn't exit that vehicle as a large black wolf-like creature lurched from the roof of the truck to the front of the vehicle. It had muscular hind legs and a bushy black-haired tail. The creature turned to look back, and the headlights shone a bright green glint across its eyes. The wolf gave a menacing snarl and bared its huge, sharp fangs. Then the monster sprinted into the storm and quickly disappeared into the snow, leaving the man thinking he wouldn't leave the truck cab for anything until the storm passed, for fear that that thing could be anywhere in that storm watching, waiting for him with its 4-inch fangs ready to sink into his throat. The fangs of an ancient creature, the saberwolf. Today's third part of the upload is a recent Dogman encounter. I live in Taylor Falls, Minnesota, and was driving north on Wild Mountain Road around 7 in the morning on January 2nd. I was heading for a ski area when I saw some kind of animal running in the field towards the river. I pulled off the road and grabbed my binoculars. It looked like a huge wolf, but it was different. By the time some guy in a truck pulled up and was wondering what I was looking at, I told him I think there's a large wolf in the field. He got out of the truck and asked me to use the binoculars. He said he didn't think it was a wolf and that it looked like it was chasing something. We stood there for a few minutes watching. It would run into the woods and then pop into the field for a bit. The light was getting better, so I grabbed my parka and started walking closer for a better look. The other guy said he had to leave, but did say again that he didn't think it was a wolf. I was about a half a mile from the ski area, near one of the trail roads. I started to walk towards the river. I was about 100 feet from where I saw the animal from the road when I heard an owl screech coming from the woods to my right. On the edge of the woods, this huge dog came running out of the trees. The best way to describe what I was looking at, it looked like a huge hyena, and it ran on the back 2 legs bent over. Today's third part of the upload is a Dogman encounter. I live in Taylor Falls, Minnesota, and was driving north on Wild Mountain Road around 7 in the morning on January 2nd. I was heading for a ski area when I saw some kind of animal running in the field towards the river. I pulled off the road and grabbed my binoculars. It looked like a large wolf, but it was different. By that time, some guy in a truck pulled up and was wondering what I was looking at. I told him I thought there was a large wolf in the field. He got out of the truck and asked to use the binoculars. He said he didn't think it was a wolf, and it looked like it was chasing something. We stood there for a few minutes watching. It would run into the woods, then pop back out into the field for a bit. The light was getting better, so I grabbed my parka and started to walk closer to get a better look. The other guy said he had to leave, but he did say again that he didn't think it was a wolf. I was about a half a mile from the ski area near one of the trail roads. I started to walk towards the river. I was about 100 feet from where I saw the animal from the road when I heard an owl screech coming from the woods to my right. On the edge of the woods, this huge dog came running out of the trees. The best way to describe it is it looked like a big hyena, but it ran on its 2 back legs and was bent over. It had woolly black hair all over its body and a long, thick tail. It must have weighed 200 pounds or more. I've been in the woods all of my life, and I've never seen anything like this. It looked over at me, but continued to run from left to right in front of me. It also made a steady, loud panting sound as it ran. I turned on a pivot and ran out of there, hoping this animal wasn't going to chase me. When I got to the car, an old man had pulled off and was standing there watching me. He wondered what I was doing. I yelled at him, "Get the hell out of there," and said there was a monster dog out there. I think he believed me because the look on his face showed fear, like he knew something was really out there. I didn't go to the ski area that day. Instead, I went back home all shook up, asking myself what I saw. It was no wolf or any other animal native to the area. A guy told me there was a sighting last year just west of Duluth. He said it was a hunter that came across it while tracking a deer he had shot. I don't know the details, but if it looked like the animal I saw, I'm sure he got the hell out of there. I enjoyed today's upload. Yeah, I only had one encounter, but when we have the informative parts, there are some encounters in that to put what the information that we're getting into perspective a little more for us. I enjoy the informative videos quite a bit. I like doing the research on it and learning about these creatures and sharing it with you guys. Like I state many times, I'm constantly learning, and I do not think I know everything, and I will never claim to. I am really fascinated with the Daewoo, spelled D-W-A-Y-Y-O. The first mention of the name is in 1940. Ironically enough, the most popular Dogman or werewolf movie back during that time was The Wolfman in 1941. 6 years prior to that was The Werewolf of London in 1935. And so for someone not to say werewolf or wolfman and come up with a name like Daewoo, very interesting to me. The college students that did the research is very interesting and came up with a scientific name, which the spelling will be in the description below. Obviously, those kids did some research. So the Daewoo, and the name is from the Amazon and Chinese. The Wu part in China or Chinese means my goodness or oh my. The Day or Dui is, I'm guessing, some sort of Amazonian tribal monster. That's a canine that lurks along the Amazon River basin, or edge, excuse me. Very interesting how that's put together, though. Really cool. Let's jump over to the saber wolf. Now, for those of you who have been with me for a long time, and for those of you guys who have binge watched, you know that I've done the Canine Cryptid cousin to the Dogman video, a couple of them. I'm fascinated with the canine cryptids. My favorite is the Wahila, and the saber wolf has, or quite possibly could be, the Wahila. I am having a hard time believing that because the Wahila is not as big as the saber wolf. The dire wolf is only tops 200 pounds. This thing topped out at 600. I mean, you got to be a bulky animal to dent the roof of a tractor trailer. Just a big friggin' animal. And something I am not willing to meet anytime soon. But I like these. I like these informative videos. Another reason why I wanted to, the last part of the upload, I used a Dogman that resembled a hyena, was because the Daewoo and the saber wolf both had resemblances of a hyena, so I figured that would fit good. Just really cool, interesting upload today. I've got a bunch of stuff coming up tomorrow, hopefully. I've got some subscriber Dogman encounters. I've got a couple of interesting 911 calls. And I'm not, there's a whole bunch of other channels that are kind of like mine, not really, but share creepy stuff, and they share the terrible 911 calls. I'm not into that. I think that's disgusting and disrespectful. These are actually, I think there's two. Yeah, there's two 911 calls that focus around cryptids and people actually calling into 911. So I'll be sharing those with you tomorrow, possibly, if I can fit it all in with the subscriber encounters. Bo, I'm going to do the Bo update this week as well. Got a busy friggin' week ahead of me with uploads and stuff like that. So with that, I'm going to bid you guys farewell. This is the end of the outro. For those of you who don't want to listen to the rest of the video, have a nice night, guys, and thank you for listening. Now, I just want to get a couple of things out in the open. I had my surgery December 3rd. My 12-year-old daughter has been with me since January 13th. I've been going through a very rough divorce or separation for a while now. And as of right now, my ex, who is, I'm not going to smear her in any way, but she is going to be fighting me for custody of our daughter. And right now, my daughter's 12, and in New York she has a say, not the right to tell or say where she wants to live, but she has a say. She can say her piece, and the judge or mediator can take that into consideration. Her mom is a good person, or was a good person, but is got her own problems right now. And, I do too, with my health and my surgery and stuff. But I have a very stable environment. I have a very healthy atmosphere in my home. There's not a lot of stress here. I've seen great improvement in the little turd lately. She'd see me during the week, and I'd go home from her mom's. It was a very weird setup we had. But now that she's been with me full time, it's awesome for both of us. I don't smoke cigarettes, so she doesn't go to school smelling like cigarette smoke. Also, I don't drink or party, so there's no ignoring her. And these are just little things that would happen. But yesterday I was talking to the county in regards to how to make sure that I win this for full custody. And regardless of everything I have on my side, I still am going to have a fight ahead of me. Her family has money, and I am without. My parents are broke right now because of my illness. They're not broke, but they're not as well off as they should be. They're both retired, and like I stated a while ago, they both pretty much tapped out a large portion of their retirement when I first got sick and was in the hospital, almost died. I'm on disability. I make very limited money. I make good money, not good money, but I make enough to pay my rent and pay my bills, and other things like that, food, And then I have my YouTube channel, which I do make a little bit of money. I'm not gonna lie, December, the month of December, which I get paid for in January, so I've already gotten that, was my best month ever, and it was $650. So if that's my best month ever, I was only making like $250 to $400 prior to that, and I got monetized a year ago. So regardless of what people think, YouTube does not pay great at all. I mean, it's nice to have that extra couple of hundred in the middle of the month, but so I'm just really stressed out. I just sold a couple of, I had 7 guns. I sold a couple more, and I'm going to be selling the remainders of the comics that I had that I held on to, that I didn't want to get rid of, that meant a lot to me, that were autographed from certain writers and illustrators. But yeah, so this is going to be a rough couple of months for me, a rough month for me. And so if my uploads are off with times and stuff like that, that's why. I mean, if I could sit in the studio every night and record, I would. But I get stressed out and frantic, and so I don't know. But yeah, so now I'm gonna go and Monday try to find the best family court attorney and possibly retain them, and figure out where to go from there. But so that's what's going on, and that's why I've been skipping days here and there. So I just wanted to let you guys know, and let you guys know that I appreciate all of your kind words that you say in the comments below. You guys are a lifeline, and good friends and good family. So with that, guys, I want to bid you farewell.